Hey guys, it's Halen, and today I'm bringing you my top 5 tips for the Prestige difficulty raid layers. That's right, raid layers plural, as in, you can take these tips and apply them to both encounters to become more successful. Let's get started. Tip number 5, sweat the small stuff. Now, I don't mean to be afraid of Prestige and every little thing in it, but you may need to pay attention to some little details that were trivial before. For example, on normal Spire of Stars, we usually split up on each side to pass the orb around before doing boss damage. Since we were having trouble with the adds on Prestige, we decided to group up all on one side. As a larger group, we were able to help each other out with adds, however we encountered a new problem. We kept getting in each other's way when trying to pass the orb. So, we took a minute, determined where each group would stand to throw, and we didn't have the problem anymore. This is honestly something that is just raiding 101, but a lot of people get comfortable because the encounter is familiar and they've beaten it many times before, but they need to be reminded that this is a new difficulty and you can't just walk in with the same strategies and expect them to always work. Tip number 4, make use of supers. As to no one's surprise, when you're given a loadout like Pulse Rifle, SMG, and Grenade Launcher, the best source of boss DPS is from supers. There's nothing too different about what supers work well during boss fights, but Avatar supers usually net better DPS overall, unless you have built your fire team and strategy to allow for multiple Celestial Nighthawk Golden Guns or Nova Bombs to go off in one DPS phase. Not all supers are created equal, so you can't expect to do too well with 6 Stormcallers or 6 Gunslingers. So that brings us to our next tip. Tip number 3, fire team composition matters. Eater of Worlds is a perfect example of this. Due to the boss's distance away from the DPS platforms, the weapon loadout you're required to use may be complete garbage for DPS, and you need to ensure to get multiple supers off in one DPS phase. This means you should try to get a Night Stalker with Orpheus rig to constantly make orbs until you're ready to start DPS phase. This shouldn't turn into a must-have Galahorn or must-have this loadout type of thing when forming fire teams, but what it does mean is that you should look at your comp before zoning in and maybe do some coordination in what class people are bringing to that run. Don't make things harder on yourself, it's already Prestige difficulty. Tip number 2, use the buddy system. We're probably used to taking on major adds all by ourselves, but Prestige is not the time or place to be prideful, and it makes things much easier if we focus fire adds together. For Eater of Worlds, this may just mean communicating focus fire on the Minotaurs and Harpies as they come out. While in Spire of Stars, all 3 Guardians on each side focusing down the Gladiators when they spawn on the plates can be a huge help and ensure that you transition to the scouting phase as quickly as possible and not wipe the whole raid. This also makes sure that people don't have to use things like supers and grenades or heavy ammo, which are very valuable during boss DPS, to take these adds down. And that brings us to tip number 1, put someone on adds. Going back to my comment about people getting comfortable with the encounter, a lot of you may think this is pointless and we should all know how to deal with or avoid adds, but let me tell you, adds still hurt in Prestige. This one is something that I found to be especially useful on Argos, since adds are coming right up to you in your face when you're trying to DPS the boss. And as it turns out, clearing adds so that 5 people with a limited weapon loadout can focus on DPSing is pretty good. Even for Valkor, if you have a lot of people using Avatar supers up on the platform, it's nice to not turn around and face a pack of adds on the retreat after they're done dealing damage to the boss. To wrap up, these tips are for any group, and not just for those with the specific weapons or super composition. I'm sure there will be videos and streams highlighting the super fast method to kill a boss during each week of Prestige, but we all know every group isn't going to be like that. When you're struggling in Prestige mode, just try out one of my tips and let me know in the comments if it helped. As always, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to check me out on Twitch where you can join me on a raid. Thanks for watching.